This is Ask Mr. Wall Street, and I've been thinking, what can I do differently today to succeed in my portfolio? Picking stocks to buy has become very different since I went to Wall Street in 1984, me and George Orwell. In those days, I had less choices to choose from, and hearsay, rumor, and guesswork were the prevailing methods of stock picking, and being closer to the information meant timing was the key to getting in. Like most baby boomer investors, I realized my investment strategies and practices required some updating. I thought I had it all figured out: buy IPOs with a great story and hope for an uptick or major liquidity event. If I could get in and ride the momentum in the aftermarket and exit at a premium while hanging on to the warrants, I'd be fine. Or watch growth stocks gain momentum from news, analysts' reports, or CEO guidance, hoping for a plus side trade and liquidity events. Or even placing size cash into a SPAC for no worse than collecting good interest and having the option of deciding not to vote for the DSPAC and having my investment returned. I guess this was me as a momentum investor. Just staying with the equity markets, how much time and effort would be required of me to watch, wait, listen, and monitor every one of my portfolio company management teams to come out ahead knowing full well I would ultimately own some dogs that would bite me in the butt? Don't get me wrong, I always enjoyed new discoveries, but it has changed. It seems to always require some luck to come out ahead too. The old ways of doing research and diligence never had the amount of information available like today, with access to financials, websites, management, digital magazines, podcasts, and knowing where and when to engage. Here's an old story I want to share with you so you know where I'm going. Almost every Monday morning, one of my clients would call me to place a trade of his choosing. He would listen to my ideas, and once in a while he bought it, but he was mostly into his own ideas. As part of my job, I tracked his account, and the majority of his buys ended up working out so well, I started to pay more attention until finally I asked Howie, "Where are you getting these great ideas from?" And he actually said, "None of your business," at first not wanting to share information that he was paying for. But finally, he broke down after my pounding and revealed that he bought a newsletter delivered every Saturday with a writer recommending research stock picks, and he made sure to get in early so he could sell once the stock ran higher, which most times it would, and both short term and long term investors benefited. Howie was willing to buy this person's newsletter and buy the idea rather than shoot in the dark or listen to a broker recommendation. In retrospect, maybe Howie was ahead of the crowd and also ahead of the times. Today, I have changed from my old norms and have moved more towards Howie's thinking. Like many younger investors that are more DIY and not persuaded to use dad's or granddad's stockbroker, but instead they do more and more research on their own, as now it is available on their own computer. No longer terminals to fight over. As an avid reader, podcast listener, stock trader, former stockbroker, retired investment banker, and market maker, some would say I have a pretty seasoned toolbox filled with every trick of the trade, especially the ones needed to judge the exceptional CEOs from the pack. I am learning new tricks from a wide variety of new sources. It should come as no surprise that the market has changed since I last sat in my seat on Wall Street, and so has my lifestyle, and most importantly, my sensibilities. I am the first to admit I am not the expert I thought I self professed decades ago, which is easier for me to admit today. It's both educational and entertaining learning to hear the many 10-bagger success stories when shared on podcasts and to find out how he or she succeeded. It's interesting and beneficial to hear each podcaster's backstory, but nevertheless, for me, it's learning about their winning strategies and evaluating their success formula and track record. That is intriguing. Fast forward to fall 2021, and how the COVID-19 experience forced us all to hunker down in seclusion for over a year and a half. And ultimately, for me, an LED light went off. The continuing exposure to a cadre of successful 10-bagger stock pickers sharing their ideas, methods, experiences, and interesting life stories of how they got to where they are currently was enlightening and refreshing. They graciously share their knowledge in articles and podcasts and interviews and newsletters, etc., and many of them are exceptional and winners. I guess you know where I am going with this, sports fans. I realize I can build a 10-bagger all-star team of experts that does the work every day, dedicated as they eat, drink, and digest the information I am no longer interested in doing. I think it's time to become a 10-bagger fan and follower. Laugh out loud. What a genius. I can finally have my cake and possibly eat it. I know it sounds simple, and I humbly say, nothing on Wall Street is simple or easy. But I figure this strategy is worth a try. It sure beats throwing a dart in a bull market or letting my emotions be my guide. And I'm Ask Mr. Wall Street, and thanks for listening.